Beauty is probably one of those spandrels, a byproduct of our brain. I play jazz piano, and I love playing the right kind of a combo, and I sometimes say, that's beautiful. We like symmetry. Symmetry is no mystery. Symmetry is when things are balanced, right? We like, your beauty might be my ugliness, who knows what, but beauty is a thing that's happening as the brain perceives its environment. Beauty, again, is a label for a function of a perceiving brain, not for a thing itself that exists in the real world.
Good, Dan, you're talking about goodness as a label, and you're espousing harm minimization. Don't want to do harm to others. Obviously, then you would be opposed to abortion in every circumstance.
No, I think abortion in most circumstances is a good thing. I think a woman who has a problem pregnancy, who chooses to have an abortion, is doing the morally correct thing. It is not 100% either or.
No.
I'm answering your question. Excuse me. In some cases, because morality and ethics are involved with minimizing harm. You can't eliminate all harm. So it's a conflict of values. So should I vote for stinky or should I vote for bully? I should pick the lesser of two evils, right? In picking the lesser of two evils is a good thing to do. Most Christians think that good and evil are these binary things, that it's either wholly good or wholly evil. I think a woman, and this is neither your business nor mine, a woman faced with an unwanted pregnancy, especially if it's a threat to her life, is doing an honorable, good, moral thing to take the freedom of choice to terminate that unwanted pregnancy.
Final question. Would it have been, following along these principles of harm minimization, was it a good thing to fight the Second World War? Would we have eliminated, diminished harm significantly if we just rolled over and let the godless dictators, Stalin and Hitler, take over?
Hitler was not godless. Hitler had Gottmituns on his uniforms. He was a member of the Catholic Church in good standing his whole life. He was never excommunicated by the Church. He credited Jesus as his inspiration for helping to exterminate the Jews. He was a very strange, very bad Catholic, but he was not an atheist. And that's slandering somebody. That's slandering us atheists. But in any event, yes, sometimes in order to minimize harm, you have to create harm. For example, no baby wants to have a needle stuck into it. You think it's a good idea to take a needle and stick it into a baby? Unless that baby needs a life-saving injection. You will cause that lesser harm for a greater good. Ethics is not a simple baby mentality, like a toddler mentality of this is good and this is bad. Ethics in real life is gray. It's in the middle. So sometimes, yes, we have to take violent, self-defensive measures with the intention of an end result, if we are as informed as we should be, that has less harm than if we have not done that. So I think there can be some just wars, although we have to be very careful that our motives are clear on these actions that we take.
Dan, to take the floor to give his closing remarks.
Thank you all. There's too much to say in 2 minutes. But for the record, many of the questions I asked George were not answered directly. The falsifiability question, his answer to the question about what is the Spirit, included the word power. A spirit has power. But power is work over time, and that's a force, and a force is measurable. So I think there's incompatibility or a confusion in his definition of what a spirit is if it has physical effects and yet it's not a physical thing. We could talk a lot more about that. But I just want to end by saying this. A lot of people come to their faith in God not by contemplating the ontological argument or by thinking about the number of chances of an amino acid forming a 10 to the 40. No, did any of you come to your belief in a God? Maybe a couple of philosophers, right? Most of you came to it for other reasons, a sense of meaning, of purpose, of justice. And you came to it for other reasons, a sense of community perhaps, or morality. I said earlier that there is no purpose of life, and that is true. In the cosmic picture, we are just like the dogs. We are just like broccoli. But in the immediate picture, life matters. to us here and now. There's no purpose of life, and if there were, it would cheapen our lives. It would make us secondary. But that doesn't mean there's no purpose in life. Atheists and agnostics, and in fact all of you believers as well, you find purpose in life whenever there are problems to solve, whenever there is knowledge to gain, or beauty to create, or inequality to eradicate, or the oppression of women, often taken by religious institutions, the denial of rights, such as the denial of gay rights, often taken by religious institutions. As long as there's inequality to eradicate, as long as there are hunger to lessen, as long as there are hospitals to build, as long as there's music to write, there is purpose in life. I'm a father. I have kids. I actually have created somebody. Unlike George, I know what it's like to be a father, I presume. I know what it means to have the paternal feelings, and that gives me an immense feeling of purpose to know that I'm participating in the future of our species. So don't despair that there's no purpose of life, because you create your own purpose in life, which is the only kind of purpose any of us are ever going to find.
Cardinal is father to us all.
Closing comments, and I now hand across to Cardinal Pell to give the affirmative closing comments.
I think I heard Dan say in passing that we're like broccoli or a dog. Now, nobody here believes that. Not even you. Would you go for the broccoli or the dog?
Broccoli!
Broccoli. I suggest that all of us very seriously believe that the great human mystery is infinitely more important than broccoli or a dog. And that's based on the fact that we believe that God has created us. The French adventurer and writer, Minister for Culture under de Gaulle, André Malraux, said that no atheist can explain the smile of a child. And Solzhenitsyn, who did more than anyone else to bring down the empire of lies that was Soviet communism, in his Temple lecture in '83, said all these terrible things have happened because men have forgotten God. And Milosz, Polish poet, has lived through communism. Marx spoke about religion being the opium of the people, help them in their sorrows. Milosz said the great opium of the people today is the mistaken belief that at the end of their life they will not have to answer to God for all their lies and barbarities and treacheries and deceptions. The universe doesn't explain itself. Astrophysics, cosmology, all radically incomplete. I concede that the explanation is wrapped around in mystery. But if we ask the question, we must ponder the answer, and bewildering though it is, that answer men call God. And Dante said that God is the love that moves the sun and all the other stars. And that's my claim.